Far from Earth, in a galaxy ruled by the Council of Zarn, humans were barely a joke. The Zarn were tall, scaled beings with long minds and slow hearts. For centuries, they watched Earth from orbit. They called humans primitive bipeds. Weak, emotional, chaotic, entertaining, sometimes, dangerous, never. The Council had once considered Earth for colonization. But after watching humanity's endless wars, pollution, and broken politics, they decided it wasn't worth the effort. They will destroy themselves. One counselor had said 300 cycles ago. The others agreed. So they left Earth alone, like a zoo animal behind thick glass, monitored but ignored. But now, something strange was happening. One of the Council's listening posts, Station 47A, located near Jupiter, had gone silent. Oh, probably a system error, the Zarn technicians said. But when Station 47B on the edge of Saturn also stopped sending signals, alarm bells began to ring. 2 failures in 2 cycles. Counselor Vex hissed. It's unlikely. They sent a small scout vessel to check. It entered the Sol system through a hidden gate behind Neptune. The ship moved fast, cloaked and quiet. Its mission was simple: fly past Earth, gather data, and report back. It never returned. Its last message, sent moments before all systems cut off, was short. Approaching Luna. No signs of activity. Earth seems quiet silence. The Council grew nervous. They sent drones next. Small, silent machines with no life signs, designed to be invisible to any primitive radar Earth might still use. None of the drones came back. Instead, a signal came from Earth. It wasn't loud. It wasn't even broadcast on the normal channels. It was tucked inside the same frequencies Earth used 200 years ago. The message was short, 1 sentence. We remember. The room fell silent as the message played again and again. We remember. Counselor Vex tapped his claws against the polished table. Is this a trick? It's impossible, said General Zolak. They have no space fleet, no interstellar drive. They can barely reach their own moon. Then where is our scout? Vex asked. Where are our drones? No one answered. In the coming days, more listening posts went dark. Not destroyed, not damaged, just cut off, like someone had flipped a switch. The Council began to panic. They've awakened some old tech, one engineer guessed. Maybe a weapon, a satellite defense system? Vex disagreed. No weapon behaves like this. This is strategic, clean, silent. This is precision. General Zolak slammed his fist on the table. Enough of this guessing. Send the envoy. Show them who we are. The Council voted. All agreed. Within hours, the war envoy was launched, a fleet of 200 ships armed with Zarn's finest weapons. Commander Kren, a brutal tactician, led the mission. As his flagship entered hyperspace, he grinned. Let's remind the bipeds why they were never worth our time. Back on Zarn, the Council relaxed. Earth would be dealt with. The humans would be warned, corrected, or removed like pests. But far beyond their sight, deep inside a hidden facility on Earth's dark side, a human sat in silence. Her name was Ava Monroe. She wore no uniform. Her face was calm. Her eyes glowed, faint blue from the neural implants behind them. She whispered into the shadows. They're coming. Dozens of other humans, men and women, turned to her. They had trained in silence for generations, hidden, forgotten, believed extinct by their enemies. She spoke again. Time above Earth, a tiny satellite blinked, then vanished. Across the solar system, every old Earth satellite turned its eyes toward the stars. The humans didn't run. They were ready. The Zarn War envoy arrived in Earth's orbit without warning. 200 ships formed a glowing ring around the planet. Each ship was armed with plasma cannons, energy shields, and stealth sensors. The fleet floated in silence, blocking out the stars above Earth's skies. Commander Kren stood on the bridge of the lead ship, Galactic. His silver armor reflected the red glow of Earth's sun. He looked down at the blue planet with no fear. Primitive, he said, still using oceans and fire. His second in command, Frel, nodded. No resistance. No signals. No power signatures. It's empty. Kren frowned. Empty. Radar shows no satellites, no ships, no defenses. Earth is dead, Frel replied. Kren didn't like it. Even primitive planets had something: old satellites, radio noise, energy trails. But Earth gave off nothing. No sound, no heat. Just clouds, land, and water. Scan the surface, Kren ordered. The scans returned. Strange results. No major cities. No highways, no signs of nuclear or AI power. The planet looked like it had been abandoned for centuries. Where are the humans? Frel asked. I don't know, Kren said slowly, but they're not gone. He looked again at the green lands and blue oceans of Earth. He saw mountains, rivers, forests, but no life. It felt wrong, like something was pretending. Send a probe to the surface, Kren said. The small drone left the ship and flew down through the clouds. It landed near the ruins of what used to be a city, tall metal frames half-eaten by plants. Roads broken, machines rusted. The probe entered a structure. Inside were long-dead screens and dust-covered desks. But something blinked on the wall. A word burned into the steel. Observe. Frel narrowed his eyes. What does that mean? Before Kren could answer, the drone feed went dark. The probe didn't explode. It didn't send any error code. Just vanished. Kren cursed under his breath. Recall all active scans. Pull the fleet back to lunar orbit. But, sir, we're being watched. Moments later, the ships began moving slowly toward the moon. As they reached orbit, one of the ships at the far edge of the formation stopped responding. Then another. Then a third. No weapons fired, no explosions. The ships were just gone. One moment they were there blinking on the command screens, and the next moment there was only empty space. Raise shields, Kren shouted. Scan for enemy vessels. Frel worked fast. No enemy ships detected. Nothing on any frequency. It's like they were erased. Voice came through the fleet's wideband channel. Wasn't loud. It wasn't hostile. It was human. We told you to leave. The voice said calmly. You chose to stay. Kren froze. He recognized the voice. Female, strong, cold. It was the same voice from an ancient Earth signal. Over 300 years old. A recording, Frel asked? No, Kren whispered. This is live. The human spoke again. This system is protected. You entered it with war in your hearts. You'll leave it with nothing. Kren slammed his claw on the console. Cowards. Face us in battle. The voice went silent, and then Earth blinked. For a moment, every screen aboard every Zarn. Ship went black, lights dimmed, weapons powered down. The fleet drifted helplessly. Then the lights returned, but 5 more ships were gone. No explosions, no damage, Frel said, shaking. They're just missing. Kren gritted his teeth. Retreat. Now, the ships turned to flee, but hyperspace wouldn't open. We're trapped, Frel said. The jump engines, they're offline. Kren stared at the stars, now blocked by Earth's shadow. Not trapped, he said slowly. Haunted? Back on Earth, Ava Monroe watched from an underground command room. Screens showed every ship, every signal, every power surge. Her voice was steady. Phase 2 complete. A young technician beside her looked nervous. What if they send more? Ava smiled, but her eyes were hard. They already have. She pointed to the moon's dark side. There, hidden in craters, were towers black, humming, alive with silent energy. Each tower held a cannon, a weapon built not to destroy, but to erase. Above, in orbit, the Zarn envoy floated, broken, blind and afraid. The humans didn't strike first. But they would finish it. They thought humans were weak. Then the bipeds changed everything. Part 3. Shadows in the dust. The moon looked quiet. Cold dust, black sky, craters untouched for thousands of years. But under that dust, something moved. The Zarn war envoy, now broken and scattered, tried to regroup near Mars. Only 31 ships remained out of 200. Most were without full power. Some were without a captain. Others were filled with silence and empty chairs. Commander Kren's ship, Vladikis, had survived. But the fear inside his crew had grown thick and heavy. No one dared speak of the ships that vanished. No one dared guess what kind of weapon could erase matter so cleanly. Frel sat beside him, pale. "We shouldn't be here." Kren said nothing. He watched the red planet through the wide glass. Mars once had human colonies, but now there was nothing. Or so he thought. "Scan the surface," he said. Frel nodded. "Basic scan or deep. Dig beneath the soil." The scan returned something strange. A network of tunnels. Large, hot, and active. Almost like a hive. But no life signs. No heat signals. No radiation could be abandoned, Frel said. Or cloaked, Kren replied. He sent 2 scout vessels to the surface. Both vanished. No explosion, no distress signal, just gone like before. This time Kren didn't wait. He launched. A full squadron. 10 armored drones equipped with scanners, cloaks, and backup AI. They landed on Mars and spread out. At first, nothing. Then, one drone sent footage. It had entered a cave, old and silent. Inside were metal walls, lights that flickered, and strange carvings. Carvings of humans. Not weak, scared humans, but tall, armored bipeds with glowing eyes. In their hands were weapons the Zarn didn't recognize. Behind them were stars. Burning. The camera zoomed in. Words were carved under the image. "We were forged in fire." Then the drone froze. And something stepped into frame. It wasn't Zarn. It wasn't machine. Not like the ones in ancient files. Its armor was smooth black, its face covered by a glowing mask. No mouth, no eyes, just silence. It raised a hand. The feed cut. All 10 drones disappeared. Back on Vladikis, a silent alarm blinked. Frel looked up, panicked. "Something's coming. From Mars." Kren stared at the screen. "How many?" "1. Just 1," Frel said. Kren laughed bitterly. "1?" Then the ship shook. A blur moved across the outside hull, too fast to track. Defense systems couldn't lock on. Shields sparked and failed. Then the lower deck gone. Not destroyed. Missing. Crew screamed. Kren shouted, "Fire everything!" The ship fired. Missiles. Plasma bursts. Wave bombs. Nothing hit. Something unseen cut through the back of the ship. A long black tear opened the hull like paper. The artificial gravity collapsed. Lights flickered. Then silence. A single figure entered the command deck, not through a door, through the air. No engine, no boots. It floated, silent. Black armor, blue lights, no face. It said nothing. Frel tried to speak, but choked. His screen went dead. Its heart monitor. Flatlined, Kren stepped forward, shaking. "Who are you?" The figure tilted its head. Then it spoke, but not out loud. Spoke inside Kren's mind. "We are the bipeds." Kren's body froze. "You called us weak. You watched us suffer. You thought we forgot." Kren fell to his knees. Mercy was phase 1. Then the figure vanished. The ship powered down completely. No life signs remained. Above Mars, the rest of the Zarn fleet saw Vladikis go dark. No warning, no sound. Just off. Gone back on Earth, Ava Monroe stood. In a long hallway beneath the Arctic ice. Behind her stood a dozen humans in dark armor, ready for command. "They're afraid," one said. Ava nodded. They should be. From a wall screen, a message blinked in ancient alien code. Requesting surrender terms. She didn't smile. She simply answered. Too late. Deep beneath the ice caps of Antarctica, a war room buzzed with quiet activity. There were no flashing lights, no panic. Just calm movement. Precision. Silence. Ava Monroe stood in the center. Her black armor shimmered faintly under the white-blue light of the command screen. Around her, holograms showed the remaining Zarn fleet near Mars. 26 ships now, and falling. They're trying to retreat, said Commander Juno, standing. Beside her, they won't make it, Ava replied without emotion. Commander Juno hesitated. Should we let them? Ava looked up, her eyes cold. Did they let us? 300 years ago, the hidden war the Zarn believed Earth was weak. But they didn't know the full truth. Long before the Council labeled humans as primitive, they had tested humanity in secret. Not openly, but through shadow wars, virus. Drops, resource sabotage. They used Earth as a lab to measure human response, to see how long they would survive under quiet pressure. But humans didn't break. They adapted. And when one of Earth's leaders learned of the Zarn's hidden hand, a general named Darius Monroe, he made a choice. He wrote a new law, a single doctrine. A Terran doctrine: we do not start wars, but we end them. We show no mercy to those who watch us bleed. We do not forgive the silent hand. We disappear. And when we return, we do not knock. Only a few ever knew the doctrine existed. Earth's nations fell into chaos soon after. Or so it seemed. But that collapse, it was planned. Governments went underground. Cities were moved beneath the soil. Satellites were shut down. Earth made itself invisible. For 300 years, humanity trained in silence. They studied alien languages. They stole tech. They built a new breed of soldier. Bipeds, yes, but not primitive. Not anymore. Now, Return of the Forgotten back on Mars. A single Zarn ship floated. Near a red canyon, inside, General Rex of the Third Fleet recorded a message to the Council. We are not fighting animals. We are not even fighting humans. These are something else. Something we made by accident. His claws trembled. They are exact, silent, invisible. I watched one tear through 6 decks of my ship without a sound. He looked straight into the screen. Do not come here. Do not send more. If you hear this, run. Then the screen went black. A second later, so did his ship. Back on Earth, Ava turned to the command screen. A council message had arrived. The Zarn were offering peace. Too late, she said. The screen buzzed again, this time a private channel. From a hidden sector of the council itself, a deep voice said, "We didn't know they would go this far. Let's talk." Ava stared at the screen for a long moment. Then she responded, "You taught us that survival requires silence. So we went silent. You taught us that weakness invites destruction. So we became destruction. You don't want peace. You want control." The voice replied, "What do you want?" Ava answered with one word, balance. Then she gave the signal. Across the solar system, hidden fleets came online. Thousands of human ships, once buried in asteroids, moons, and debris, began to glow with energy. The bipeds were done hiding. Later that night, Earth's surface, a child stood with her grandfather in an old city, one of the few still above ground. She looked up at the stars. "Grandpa," she asked, "are the stories true? Did we really go away?" The old man smiled. "We never went away. We just waited." She nodded. "Will there be a war now?" "No," he said, wrapping his coat tighter around her. "There will be a correction." Far above them, a fleet passed silently across the night sky. No one cheered, because no one knew what would happen next, except the bipeds. The Zarn Council was no longer laughing. In a hidden chamber beneath the capital city of Zharna Prime, the last 7 counselors sat in silence. Their finest fleet had been shattered. Their war envoy erased. Mars was lost. Earth had become a fortress they didn't understand. "What are they?" whispered Counselor Vel. Counselor Vex, once proud and sure, didn't speak. His eyes stared at the screen, showed a grainy video from a drone that escaped Mars before blackout. A human in black armor stood over the wreckage of a Zarn ship. No face, no fear, just silence and power. "Are we under attack?" Vel asked. "No," Vex finally said. "We're under judgment." Across the galaxy, panicked three empires watched the destruction with horror. The highborn dynasty of Acera, ancient rulers of 1,000 worlds, had once dismissed Earth as a low-tier trade planet. They had even joked about making humans their workers. Now, highborn nobles whispered in their floating palaces. Earth had returned, not begging for place, but offering one last warning: surrender or vanish. Some nobles called it a bluff. Emperor Sithar did not. He ordered his military council to launch a test strike, a clean mission against a human colony on a moon near Sector X9. The fleet never arrived. Halfway through the jump, it disappeared. No debris, no signal, just black space. "They've blocked hyperspace lanes," said one Acheron commander. "That's impossible." But the Emperor didn't care. "We do not surrender to savages," he said. Earth responds in a command room inside Saturn's moon Titan. Ava Monroe stood before a group of new recruits. Each wore the black armor of the Bipeds. Each had been trained since birth, in silence. "You are not soldiers," Ava said. "You are memory. You are the reason they'll never forget again." She turned to the main screen. It showed the Asaran fleet gathering on the edge of the system. Hundreds of warships. Battle stations. Living cannons. "They won a war," Ava said. "We'll give them truth instead." The first strike, the Asaran fleet launched missiles toward Titan. Massive planet breakers. But before they reached the moon, the missiles slowed, stopped, turned around. The humans didn't destroy them. They reprogrammed them mid-flight. The Asaran missiles hit their own fleet. Half the ships were gone in seconds. The other half tried to flee. But the stars themselves seemed to shut down. No jump drive worked. No escape route opened. Then came the human fleet. Black ships, silent. Movement, no light, no music of war. Only purpose. The Bipeds didn't fire first, they fired last. One noble survives. Highborn Lord Errol's escape pod tumbled into space. Systems failing. Air low, he sent a distress call across all channels. "Do not fight them. Do not answer. The humans, they see everything. They are the darkness we left behind." His voice cracked. "They remember." Then silence. The council falls back on Jarna Prime. Riots broke out. Civilians demanded answers. Believed the humans were myths. Others believed they were gods. Vex stood before the council one last time. "We made them this way," he said. "We tested them, broke them, laughed as they bled." He turned to the others. "And now they've learned. What do they want?" Vel asked. Vex shook his head. "Not revenge, not power. They want us to feel what they felt to be small." No one had anything more to say, except the screen. It flickered. A face appeared. Ava Monroe. Live. Real human. "I told you," she said. "We didn't start this." She looked at each counselor. "You did?" The screen went black. Final scene across the galaxy. Governments fell silent. Empires paused. Trade routes stopped. Because one truth now echoed in every chamber, every palace, every warship. The Bipeds are awake. And they were just getting started. The galaxy held its breath. After the fall of the highborn fleet, no empire dared move. No ship entered human space. No ambassador spoke Earth's name. The silence was heavy, stretched across stars thick with fear. But Earth was no longer quiet. From the far side of Pluto, thousands of dark ships lit up at once. From the moons of Jupiter, engines roared beneath frozen ice. Mars opened its caverns. Earth rose from the shadows. The bipeds were moving. The final message inside an ancient station hidden in the asteroid belt. Ava Monroe stood in front of a galactic broadcast terminal. Her armor gleamed under red lights. She placed a small disc on the console. The AI beside her spoke softly. Once this message is sent, there is no going back. Ava nodded. There never was. She pressed the disc. The message sent out in every known language. We are the children of Earth. You watched us burn. You turned away. But we survived. We grew, and now we rise. We are not here to rule. We are here to balance, to stop those who would become what you were. We remember. The council collapses on Jarna Prime. Counselor Vex sat alone in the grand hall. The other seats were empty. Some counselors had fled. Others had taken their own lives. The fear was too much. Vex looked up at the stars through the ceiling dome. Thousands of tiny dots, human ships, drifted above the city, not firing, just watching. He stood, raised his arms, and spoke aloud. I surrender. No one answered, but the ships remained. A shadow passed over the city, above Earth. The summit, a ring of ships formed in orbit around Earth. Not just human ships, but vessels from smaller alien worlds, free planets, and ancient races once silenced by the highborn. Each had sent one representative. Ava Monroe stood at the center in a zero-gravity chamber. This is not a new empire, she said. This is the new balance. Some aliens nodded. One brave voice asked, what if others rise again? What if the Zarn rebuild? Ava's eyes were cold but steady. Then they will learn what the council learned. A quiet silence followed. Everyone understood. Rebuilding the stars in the weeks that followed, human ships spread across abandoned colonies and dead sectors. Not to conquer, but to help. Food, medicine, power, security. Worlds once afraid of humans now looked up in wonder. Children pointed at the skies and whispered the word, bipeds. But they didn't know the full story. They didn't know the price paid. The last ceremony in a hidden graveyard beneath the Earth's crust, Ava stood alone. Before her were glass tombs. It's the first generation, the original humans who built the doctrine, who gave up their lives so Earth could vanish. One of them was Darius Monroe, her ancestor. She placed her hand on the tomb. Your plan worked, she whispered. I'll never forget again. Then she turned and walked away. Behind her, a voice echoed through the dark chamber. We are the last. Warning, final scene on a distant world in a poor village once ruled by the highborn. A child looked up at the stars. She pointed. Mother, look, a light. The mother squinted. A single black ship passed across the sky, silent, watching, moving. Who are they? The child asked. The mother smiled. They're the ones who were called weak. She knelt beside her daughter. But now they protect us all. The stars kept shining. The galaxy had changed forever.